What's going on YouTube? Lasagna here, back with another episode of Road to 2000. And this time, something a little bit different. We're going to be playing with a 5-second increment. Because, who was it, Einstein, that says if you try the same thing over and over again, that's the definition of insanity? So, you know, if I keep just throwing myself into these 10-minute games without increment, and losing on time, well, not necessarily losing on time, but getting into a time pressure scenario, you know, time to make a change. So let's try this out. So we get the Alpine defense here, or the call it Alpine defense, Alpine attack, or just the Alpine, I don't know. We get d5 immediately here. I think I'm gonna take, right? Yeah, I think I take, or do I? Yeah, takes. Yeah. And I believe we've actually had this before in a very early episode of Road to 2000, maybe episode 1 or 2. And we did end up getting the victory there with this knight a3 line. So I think that's what we're going to go for again. Just go knight a3 here. And the idea of knight a3 is that the knight can swing to some of these other squares, and although it's not well placed to begin with, it will find a home on a better square at some point. Also, maybe supports this move with the queen in the center here, and there can be like forking opportunities here with the queen and the rook and the king here. So that's the reason for knight a3. And we are playing Mamt from Italy. Cool. I have a little bit of Italian blood in me. I call my grandmother Nona, if that means anything. She's a first-generation immigrant from Italy, so. And already, I'm noticing my opponent taking some time here in the opening, which is refreshing, man. I think I'm converted 10+5 player. Okay, we get knight c6 here. So bishop c4 makes sense to me to attack the queen. I could also go like knight c2 and d4 potentially. Or I could just go d4 immediately. Not really sure which one I want to do. I'm kind of tempted by this move to fork the king and the queen here. And then if he, what does he do to defend? Maybe just brings the queen back. Then if we play d4, and if he plays a6 there, where's my knight gonna go? So I think I'm gonna go d4 first. I'm sure there was nothing too wrong with the other line, but I think this makes sense. This makes sense to me. Oh, do I take the knight or the pawn? I think I'll take with the knight, maybe. Now we have this position where we have this isolated queen pawn, which is pretty standard in the Alpine. You'll get this this pawn here, which is a bit of a weakness. And usually black's idea is to try to blockade this pawn with his pieces and his pawns. And then usually white's plan is to use this pawn as sort of a battering ram of sorts, and to attack your opponent and use the space to attack. So we'll see what we get from here. And we get e6. So there is this check, but I don't think it does too much. There's still this idea of trying to come in with the fork, but here he probably just goes bishop d6. I could claim that I'm getting the bishop pair in that position. Maybe I also want to try to prioritize development with like bishop c4 or bishop d3. But that drops the pawn here, so I think I am going to go here and just threaten the fork. Bishop to b4 check. So if we go here, takes, and I think we're fine in that position. If he, I mean, he can't really take the pawn or anything because my queen doesn't see the pawn, but my knight protects the pawn here. So I think bishop d2 is what I want to do here. And he's got to be careful here because there's still this threat. And there's this as well now, so okay, he does trade. I think we're doing okay here. Does he want to like counterattack my queen maybe? Like if he goes here, check, that doesn't look very good for him. Guys, we're up on the clock. This is a breath of fresh air, if I don't say so myself. So rook to c1 here, reinforcing the threat, makes some sense to me. I guess you can just kingside castle in that position. So... But I think I still am going to play it because... I don't know. Doesn't seem like a bad move in and of itself. Like, say my knight gets kicked back. It's still useful to have the rook on the c-file, so I think we're good to do that. So I'm thinking of going here. And this... Even if he goes a6, knight a3, and tries to take the pawn here, it's tactically defended because of this check, which would pick up the queen that's hanging on this square if he took the pawn. So setting a little bit of a trap here. And we'll have to see if in these 10+5 games, if I have enough time to be doing those like 2-minute or 2-game episodes, because I guess, I don't know how much time the increment really adds, but I like to keep the videos around 30 minutes long. I know you're all busy people. So I think just castles looks good here. I don't see any tactics. Like I see the rook's a little vulnerable here, but I mean, queen f4 looks kind of like a nice move, just looks like a nice square for the queen. Maybe supporting like this move. I guess I should maybe consider this. But let's just get our ducks in a row here first. Castle the king out of the center. And then maybe if he goes bishop b7, we can come here. Although this construction's a little bit loose with the knight protecting the rook, because if the knight gets dislodged, then our rook would be hanging there. And there's also maybe like knight here, which kind of just, well, I guess his bishop's hanging, so like here, 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 and here, yeah, and then I just have to move the rook again there. So what else could I do? I mean, I think this queen move makes some sense to me. But then still, I'm running and getting hit with this move. Yeah, I feel like my opponent's done a decent job here. I think I still will. Well, what about the pawn, though? Okay, I'm going to start with rook fd1. Because I feel like this pawn is going to be hanging in a lot of these lines after, like, the knight has to move. And so I want my queen to be able to move. So, like, if I move my queen, you can imagine that position, then my rook will be tactically defending the pawn. Say, like, queen f4. I'll show it after the game. Okay, he's hitting the pawn, but this runs into a fork. Oh, I'm getting hit with this, though. Yeah, that's a pretty good move. I'll give it to you, Mr. Mamt. We go like bishop f1. Seems a little bit passive. f3. Do I really want to play f3 in this position? f3. If he goes here, here, then he can take with check is the problem. Okay, f3. Here. I don't like it. I think I am going to go bishop f1. I just think weakening the diagonal here towards my king with the queen pressuring the pawn was a little bit too much. And I have to be a little bit careful because my bishop's doing two very important jobs, protecting this knight and protecting against the checkmate here. So, yeah, gotta be very careful. Okay, attacks the queen. I gotta catch up a little bit on the clock. Maybe just queen f4 here. And this fork is still kind of hanging in the air. Now if he ever moves this rook, this move's going to come with a bigger threat because I'll be threatening the f7 pawn in that position. So I like the activity I have with my knight, my rook, my queen. I don't like that this bishop's only job is kind of protecting the checkmate here. But I think that's just going to be something we're going to have to live with for a while now. Okay, that seems a little bit much here. Yeah, I think going after that pawn, I don't know. Maybe it's okay, but like, look how active everything is here. I feel like things might start falling apart here if he's not careful. because the bishop defends the knight, so I am threatening to take. Even if he, say he goes like rook b8, I am threatening takes, and takes here. Winning the 2 pieces for the rook, which should be a pretty favorable trade. And in that position, I'll have moves like bishop d3, because my queen's on this square with the battery, and that looks pretty good for me. So, and let me know what you think, guys. I feel like just watching me try to scramble to get in all the commentary and make a million moves a minute is less enjoyable to watch than this kind of slower paced game, but let me know. Okay, now this move. Oh wait, I guess he can trade. What if we go here? Now that the battery, like the queen bishop battery, isn't occupying the diagonal, I think it's time for my bishop to come back. And now he might even have to worry about things on the king side as well. I like the position. I would like to make some room for my king to escape here so that this rook is a bit more mobile at some point. Yeah, and if this knight moves, then this move's gonna come, and I'll have like 1, 2, 3. Yeah, like just this move, I think. Looks very strong. Oh, I guess it's only 1, 2 though, because now the knight's... Maybe this was a bit inaccurate. Yeah, like he can just go rook c8 now. Oh no, he can't because of my knight, but I think it's fine. I still like my knight on this square. Like maybe we have ideas like this. G4, G5. I mean, it's a little ambitious, but I don't think we need to do that now that I'm looking at it. I think now would probably be a good time to play like F3, H3, one of those Luft moves to give my king some breathing room. Okay, he just takes another pawn. This guy is brave. So takes. There's just nothing there. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have let him take all of my queenside pawns. Okay, I'm gonna make a Luft move here. Feeling like I've sort of messed this up a little bit. I mean, we're still quite active, but is it worth 2 pawns? Yeah, this is where chess starts getting hard, you know? It's like... everybody's a gangster until you're down 2 pawns, you know? I mean, I just wish this knight would move, because then we'd be smoking him. So maybe G4 is the way. I don't know. Yeah, the more I'm looking at this, the more I just feel like I could just get away with G4. Just like look at the light squared weakness there though. Kind of what's making me second guess it, but this is such a big threat, right? If this knight had to move. Like where would it even move? I guess here, but then takes and... Yeah, let's go g4. It's go time, baby. He's got only 28 seconds. Mind you, that's with increment, but like he's gonna have to meddle with some of these problems. Okay, he does. Go there. So if we go here, takes. I don't think we've accomplished much. I'm gonna go here. Maybe try to stack this way. Wait. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Which one do we take with? If we take with the rook, are we even threatening anything in that position? Takes. We take with the knight. Okay, I think we have to take with the knight. And I'm just kind of trusting that we can get out of this with check. Like check, takes. Okay, let's take back for now. I'm sacking the whole house if this comes down to it. A little bit worried about things like, yeah, wait, did I just lose the game? I mean, if we go up, we're getting sauced. So we have to go back. Check. Takes. I don't see it. Yeah, I'm just lost. Oh, what have I done? Yeah, it's just nonsense for me. Yeah, I'll just resign that one. Oh, good game to mom. Let's take a look at the analysis. All right, so I played that one with a 82.4. Momt played with a 90.2. So just a very strong game from Momt. So we get the Alpen here. And I play this knight a3 line where the knight's pretty useful on some of these secondary squares. So, okay, d4 is incorrect. Bishop c4 is best in this position. Noted. So we get this trade. And yeah, I guess black just has good control over the square in front of the pawn here, which just makes him a little bit better in this position. So we go knight b5, just trying to look for this fork. And he decides to trade the dark square bishop here. I go rook c1, castles, bishop d3, both of us just developing here. And we get this position where, again, black's just a little bit better because he has a lot of control over this square in front of the pawn. And if you can't move an isolated queen pawn, it generally turns into a liability. So I decide to go rook fd1, and he centralizes the queen. And we play bishop f1 here. Obviously not the move you want to play, but this battery is very strong, so I need to defend it. And he goes knight e4, bishop f4, and takes. And my opponent correctly assesses that he's just free to take these pawns. I thought it was a little bit risky given the activity that I was getting on the 7th rank with my queen and rooks and knight all in play here, but I guess concretely there's just not a whole lot that I can do, and he's just gonna collect these pawns. So we get this position, and this knight was so pesky, like I just would have had everything if this knight wasn't blocking here, and g4, g5, as you saw in the game, was just parried pretty easily with h6. So I plop the knight on d6, and he decides to take the other pawn, and I play h3, just making some room for my king. We get queen b4, and I go g4, and we get h6. And yeah, I just don't have much in this position. Like, I thought, just correctly or incorrectly assessed that we had a lot of pressure here and solid control over the only open file here, but it just shows you that sometimes chess can be a very concrete game, and sometimes you can't just go off of these notions of like activity and stuff when you know, black's position is just very solid here. Wow, he's playing so well too, like knight e8 here, just keeping everything defended, kicking the rook out of town. And you know, whenever I first saw this move, I thought he just handed everything to me by giving me this, but when you look closer, you know, my rook's hanging, and as you saw in the game, there's just nothing after I take here. You know, I just basically sacked a bunch of material this game, and I had nothing. Like, yeah, this was another good defensive move, because I can't really not trade queens. I don't know if that's the correct way to say that, but I had to trade queens. Sorry for the double negative, because, you know, big problems with the battery again here, and so I kind of have to take, and also my there's problems with my knight here, so I just ran out of time here and played knight h6 check, just going for a bit of desperation, just basically trying to see if there was any type of, like, if this pawn wasn't here, for example, then I might have like this move with check, and then there's like checkmate, but just seems like he had all this figured out the whole game, and just props to my opponent for a very excellently played game. So let's play one more. I know I just kind of said that I wasn't looking to do big long 45-minute videos, but you know, I feel like when you lose a game where you play with an 82% accuracy, it just gets me hungry to do one more, because it means I'm playing well. So let's keep it rolling. One more game. All right, and we get Ing Adam, who appears to be away from his keyboard at the moment. All right, and another riveting bout between myself and Ing Adam there, as I waited an entire minute with nothing going on. So yeah, let's jump into another one here. All right, and this time we get Cavaleiro Branco from Brazil. So let's go c5 here. And man, a lot of Alapins, from both sides. Okay, and he takes the pawn. Usually we saw the push in the center here, but now I get to show what I actually play against the Alapin, and I like to bring the f6 knight out here instead of immediately taking back. And my idea is just that I want to take with the knight instead of the queen, because yeah, I just prefer my knight be in the center than the queen in the start of the game. And after c4 here, I believe you're supposed to play e6. And the idea is that, yes, he could win a pawn here, but then after knight c6, his d-pawn's kind of stuck behind as a backwards pawn there. So I'll show that a bit after the game. But he decides not to take back here. And now we're just going to be able to win our pawn back. And I suppose we might get our queen in the center after all. Okay, no, we get bishop c4. So he is threatening to take. I could take here, but that kind of fixes his isolated pawn here. So knight b6 or knight back to f6 makes sense to me. Even this move looks okay. Like here, if he tries to strike in the center, there's a check. So I think I am actually going to go to f4 with the knight, which scares me a little bit because I don't have any pieces developed. So I am getting a little bit behind in development, but he's going to have to burn a tempo here. Ooh, maybe he has queen f3 though. Ugh. That could be bad. Queen f3 with this. Yeah, and if I play bishop d6 in that position, defending the knight, then he has g3, kicking the knight and exposing the attack on the f7 pawn here. I guess after queen f3 I might have knight e6, which kind of cuts off the bishop's view of f7 here. Here, if he takes, he can take the pawn though. So I guess after takes, I have to take with the pawn. Yeah, I don't like what I've done with the place here. Maybe knight f4 was a little bit too experimental. Yeah, I wish there was like check here, but unfortunately he has two defenders. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I really don't like it though, because takes, he might even just have check. I guess there's g6. Because there's no check here because I have a pawn on e6 in that position. Because there's kind of that classic idea of checking here, inducing g6, and then if there was no pawn here, then you'd hit the king and the rook. But yeah, we might be okay in this position. I don't know. It's just everything's holding on by a thread here. Like he's very developed. Like if he could kick this knight, you know, it would be uh-oh spaghetti-o time. Yeah, we have to take with the pawn because of the pressure here. And I think we have g6. Okay. So I mean, rook g8 looks like the only move. So let's go rook g8. Yeah, and this position is just terrible. I mean, at least I have this move. Or this move, I guess. But then he takes this one, so let's go here first. And maybe we can start kind of bouncing back after we get a couple more developing moves in. I think I'm going queenside. Well, I'm obviously not going kingside because I've moved the rook. So yeah, maybe we prioritize the development this way. I could go e5 and really clamp down on this move d4. And create some better squares for my bishop. The alternative plan is just to quickly try to develop my queen side here to castle my king. which seems a little bit better, in my opinion. Because, yeah, he's going to get castled and put a rook on e8, and I just don't want all that pressure down the e-file immediately. Queen f6 looks decent, although he's probably going to try to skewer me this way eventually. So maybe queen e7 is actually a good move. Temporarily blocking the bishop, but I think I'm going to put the bishop this way. And then I can just castle, and then I think we have a sort of a gotten out of the dangers in the opening. If we can get those two moves in. Okay, we get d3. Yeah, so just anticipating the castle here. I'm gonna go here. Maybe if we castle, we can meet bishop g5 with bishop f6. Alternatively, maybe we could just chuck in the move h6 just to prevent anything from coming to this square. I have a feeling he's going to try to maybe fork me or something. Okay, he goes there. Yeah. These squares are pretty vulnerable here. I think I am going to invest some time and play h6 here. I'm just worried about some of these squares. Specifically, the g5 square there looks quite dangerous if he was able to get this move in. Because now I can't actually block because of the knight. Yeah, this guy's annoying. I mean, I think I can just go here now, though. I guess one issue with this is that after takes and takes, he has rook c1, and then I can't castle over here. But maybe I have bishop c6. And if you're a beginner watching at home, don't play like this. Get your king out of danger ASAP. So I could take this way. Takes, and just play with my king in the center. Because most of the pieces are traded off, but I don't love that. We take with the pawn. Rook c1. Bishop c6. I don't know. Yeah, bishop c6 I think was my plan here. Bishop c6. Yeah, we'll see. See what we get here. Oh my, oh, no, the pawn's good. Yeah, I don't know. Feels like our position's just fine here, looking at this. Again, I'd like to get this move in at some point. Maybe even on the next turn, I might be okay to do that. Like, the bishop is pinned, but I don't see any way to mount any type of serious pressure on it right away. Knight c5. Yeah, that's quite a bit of pressure there. We go here, he has takes. No, he doesn't. Here, 95. Here, 95. Worst case I could take, but there also might be queen g5 with the threat on g2. Let's try it. I don't love my position, but I mean, we could just, well, yeah, I don't know about that. Take, maybe? Feels like I've messed this up pretty bad. How ridiculous is king f7? YOLO. I just didn't see any other way to protect this pawn. Here we just take it. Here, check. Yeah, that looks like I'm getting mated. What else do I have? Just rook e8. Man, I've been getting absolutely smoked today. And it feels like I haven't been playing terribly. Maybe the 10+5 guys are just built different. Alright, I mean, now there might be this move. If he blocks, we can actually just take, I think. But I have to be careful of this. Maybe there's rook e7. Whoa. Here there's check, and I lose the game. Takes. I think I have to take. I mean, I'm only down one pawn, to be fair. I think the more concerning thing is that I'm down 4 minutes. I'm kind of just planning on turtling up, maybe. Just, this pawn is very annoying how weak it is. But I don't know, maybe if I can get like king g7, rook f8, and start trying to apply some of my own pressure. I don't know, we'll see. It's not over till the fat lady sings, so. I think if I was him, I would play rook e3 and try to attack. h3 is interesting. Kind of put some pressure here. If this rook ever moves, say like rook e2, then there is here. Okay. I don't really know what that move does, but I'm just trying to move quick. Just trying to overprotect the pawn, I think, a little bit. So that I can move this rook, potentially. Just go here, I guess. Here, I think I'll just go here. Gotta concentrate to not lose on time here. Maybe he has takes and check here. I don't actually see that leading anywhere, though. I think I do want to take here. Oh, he's this, though? I think I just try to trade queens. Uh-oh. Maybe he has this. Probably getting checkmated here. Oh, flip. Yeah, he just says this. Or that. Oh, man. All right, so that's another loss there. I mean, I didn't notice this when I started, but that guy was 1800, so maybe we shouldn't feel too bad, but we were better out of the opening here. Yeah, knight f4 was not the move here. Although, after knight e6, engine still says I'm a little bit better here. And yeah, we did handle this correctly, but we were kind of on the back foot for the rest of the opening here. Yeah, and where did I actually go wrong here? Yeah, it says white's just marginally better here. Okay, I guess queen e7 wasn't best here. Engine wants g5. g5 goes against all of my chess instincts. I guess you're just trying to annoy this knight, but can't it just come here? g5, d3, g4, knight e5, takes. Yeah, this doesn't look like a position I want to play, personally. But that's what the engine says is best. We instead go queen d7, d3, and yeah, okay, this move was really bad. It really wants me to go g5 here. Yeah, I mean, I guess I shouldn't just blindly say that I can't go g5. Like, yeah, I guess that's the point of you know, going, like, I'm eventually probably going to go queenside, so I guess it does kind of make sense to start playing over here, but I don't know. I don't think that's kind of an intermediate level move right there. But yeah, that's like the only move for black to not have a serious disadvantage here. After knight e4. Yeah, h6 was the only move here. Bishop g5, very scary threat. So he just develops and takes, and yeah, he's just got a pretty sizable advantage here, just because my king's in the center and my pieces aren't super active here. So we get rook f, rook a c1. And we're trying to fight back here, you know, we're starting to get something going here. But yeah, just all of his pieces were really nicely placed in this game. And yeah, he just had this nice idea of pressuring down the e-file while my king was kind of stuck here. Only move here was rook c8. And I guess, yeah, doesn't this just give up the pawn, though? Aha, you can remove one of the defenders here. Because if he takes, then you can take on e6. And here's up a piece now for a pawn. So after it takes, he actually has to check here. Rook takes, and then takes, and takes on c1, and then this is just kind of drawish game. I mean, we could probably even just take on f3, damage the pawns, and yeah, this would just be some balanced endgame that we'd have to play. I'd probably prefer black here, though. But I didn't see all that, instead just went king f7, because it's the only move I saw that defended the pawn, and yeah, this is the second best move. Unfortunately, rook c8 was just the only move. And that's how you know you're playing a good opponent, whenever, like, if you make a mistake in the opening, or, like, early on, then, like, you're just on the back foot, and you have to find all these good moves to survive. So I play king f7 here, and we get knight e5 check, takes, and just loads of pressure everywhere here. And I play rook a e8, just trying to put more defense here, which is a huge blunder. I guess I am supposed to go rook g to c8, or rook a c8. But I don't do that, and he takes the center pawn here. we go queen g5, trying to create some counterplay here. Because if he goes f3, then I thought I could take here with the pin. Engine says I cannot due to, well, it just says rook c2. And yeah, I guess I'm getting smoked here. But anyways, he goes knight e4, which is even stronger. Because there's a big threat here, right? Like if I go here, then there's check, or no, there's not check. There's but there is rook to c8. Oh, just the deflection, and now you're getting checkmated. That's sick. Wow, rook c8 there. So yeah, you can see the problems here with the knight and the queen combining. So I decided to take, only move, and then play rook e7. Basically just going cocoon mode, trying to just keep everything defended here. And eventually he finds a way to break through. Yeah, I thought the rook lift was quite strong here. And I try to like shuffle a little bit to keep surviving here. But yeah, eventually this is just the nail in the coffin here with g5, because it just gives him a hook basically to crack open everything towards my king here. So yeah, we take, and then eventually I'm either going to get checkmated or lose my queen probably with all the pressure here. Yeah, this was probably my last chance, but I only had 20 seconds. Engine says queen to f4. Desperately going for a queen trade. Now this is pinned. And I guess after g takes, king h8, I guess I'm surviving this somehow, but yeah, doesn't look pleasant. And yeah, nice by white here. I was thinking, you know, he had this at a minimum. Wait, no, this. Oh no, sorry, the pawn's defending here, but sorry, this one with the skewer here. And after takes and takes, I've lost my queen, but instead white finds the checkmate in one here. And yeah, nicely played game by Cavallero. So that's 2 losses today. I think that last one I probably didn't lose too many points because he was 1800, but and I guess that's one of the downsides of, well, I don't know if it's necessarily a downside of playing the 10+5, is that we'll probably run into more variance in our opponent's rating because there's less players in the pool. But anyways, I thought it was a couple instructive games nonetheless, a couple strong opponents. So on that note, thank you all for watching, and if you liked the video, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. And we will see you on the next one.